Welcome to another edition of The Ride Home with John and Kathy, live from the Salem-Pittsburgh studios. And now here are your hosts, John Hall and Kathy Emmons.
Hey, good afternoon. Feels as though fall is upon us, does it not? It's a little chill in the air. Did you feel it last night?
I wore a corduroy jacket today.
What? You broke out the corduroy?
I pulled it out just this morning. And you know what? I felt good about it.
Really? Not sweaty? You weren't sweaty? Really?
No. It
fit.
was very breezy. I was down in the Strip today.
Yeah.
And I was walking around, try to get some steps in. And plus I was eating cheese.
Cheese and steps. It's a natural combo.
I was very glad for the corduroy jacket.
Really, though?
It was very windy, and
Yeah.
I felt like I needed it.
I have mixed emotions about corduroy.
Do you?
Well, what about the sound of it?
Well,
about corduroy
that's
pants?
with pants.
See? You open the door to the corduroys.
You think that all of a sudden I'm going to come in with corduroy pants. But what if it's a nice soft corduroy? Then it just might not feel luxurious?
So then you're shopping for a nice soft corduroy as opposed to just regular corduroy.
Yeah, but some corduroy can be a little...
stiff.
Exactly. Coarse.
Oh, someone's coming.
I'm only looking for the... I feel like I'd like a pair of corduroy pants. I don't have one.
I had a pair. Actually, for the last couple of years, I've worn corduroy pants.
Why all of a sudden you don't want to wear them anymore?
I just am conscious or, leery of, here comes John.
Well, now I'm concerned about my coat.
That's all I'm saying.
Nobody said that to me in the Strip today.
Unless you were running, I guess.
I wasn't running.
Because your arms would be running against the sides. Probably a coat's quieter corduroy.
I think so. Plus, it's a very nice coat.
Right. It would be a good marketing thing, wouldn't it? The quiet corduroy is here, right?
Yes, exactly. You know what? When we did our house renovation, which started in February of last year, I got rid of almost all my coats.
Why?
Well, I went through my whole house and I gave like 30% of what we owned away.
No sparking joy.
I felt like I have too many coats.
Uh-huh.
And I just thought, this is done. This is over.
Funny you say that because this is weird. I didn't think about this. The only winter coat that I have is corduroy.
That can't be a very warm coat.
Oh, it's a good coat. It's like an old 60s coat that I may have got at Thriftique.
Oh, that's not all you got.
I may have, yeah. Hey, now, telling tales out of school. Is Todd Chapman here?
I was thinking he would be here, but there he is.
There he is.
Oh, my gosh.
There's
I
our
thought
friend.
we were on our own.
Look, it's fall when Todd Chapman shows up wearing plaid.
Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah, hey, lumberjack. What's going on, my friend?
It is short sleeve.
Oh, it is short sleeve. Look at those guns.
Yeah. All of a sudden, I thought maybe we should have cider.
Yeah, right.
Like, what's going on?
I'm all about it. I took the dog out for a walk, and it was brisk, and the pine needles are falling, and the leaves, and all the fall carnage has begun.
Were you in Maine?
Well, he's in Michigan, which means it's probably going to snow on Friday.
Yeah, winter comes, I think, on Saturday this
year. Yeah.
Heaven help you. Yeah. Well, welcome, Todd, and happy fall to you.
We're happy to see you, Todd.
Although fall has not really happened yet, right? We have still a few precious hours of summer left.
Oh, I thought yesterday.
9:03 this evening.
Oh, okay.
Give or take a minute or so.
Okay, well, Todd, go back and put a sunny yellow shirt on.
Aren't you glad you tuned in for the corduroy fall update?
I'll be right back.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you're the wicker shirt, right? So if you're sweating. What is that thing? Have you had one of those shirts?
What, a wicker shirt?
Wick shirts. No, they wick, right?
Oh, yeah, they take the moisture away.
Right, the wick shirts.
It's different. It's different than a wicker shirt. Which, again, doesn't seem comfortable.
It's a bad combination, corduroy and wicker. You're coming from 5 miles away.
Don't smoke in that thing. You'll set yourself on fire.
Very nice.
Oh, Todd, we're happy to welcome you in. We love all of you guys at Food for the Poor, and we appreciate the work that you do. And we've been talking about Hurricane Fiona and just the devastation that it wreaked on Puerto Rico, and that's what our focus is today.
Yeah, absolutely. And grateful to be back. Thank you for just the long-term partnership that we've had with not only The Ride Home, but Word FM. So many years partnering together in bringing aid in various forms. I mean, food, houses, and, of course, disaster responses in times like this. And so thank you for your faithfulness and your generosity. But yeah, today back to bring to you again the need of the people in Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic in the wake of Hurricane Fiona, which just tore through there earlier this week. And we continue to just ramp up our response, which actually began in the immediate hours after the hurricane struck. As soon as the rain subsided, the winds died down, and we could get out, the pre-positioned supply kits began going out through our partners to churches, distribution centers, homes, everything, and that's going to continue for the foreseeable future. So that's what we're asking you to be a part of. And really, really simple, a gift of $66 is what it will take to fund a relief kit for a single family. And these kits, we'll talk more later about what they have in them, but it's, all sorts of stuff these families need because they've lost many of their possessions, and their home is dysfunctional now because of the rain. There's no power. So all sorts of really helpful things in there. $66. I mean, think about the things that you can do with $66 that are not bad, but they're just certainly not potentially life-preserving and encouraging to people in a time of catastrophe. So earnestly asking, would you pray about giving that gift? Maybe you say, hey, we'd like to do 2 of those kits for 2 families, a gift of $132. We'll give that, all the information, price points, everything, and a way for you to donate at wordfm.com. Red and white Hurricane Fiona relief banners right there.
Fabulous. Todd Chapman from Food for the Poor. We need to step away for just a minute, but we're going to talk about this as the show goes on today, about how all of us can help with relief kits, hurricane relief kits from Food for the Poor. Won't you join us online at wordfm.com or by texting Send Hope at text 91999. Much more ahead. Just getting underway. The Ride Home, Pittsburgh's Christian Talk.
101.5 WORD, the station with Pittsburgh's favorite Christian music every weekend.
With the best new music. New music. God is in this story, new from Katie Nicole and Big Daddy Weave.
God is in this story.
Heart of God by Zach Williams.
There's only love in my heart.
And new music from Stephen Curtis Chapman, Don't Lose Heart.
Don't lose heart.
Celebrating 20 years of bringing Pittsburgh's favorites and the best new music.
101.5 WORD. On the weekend,
I was at a big family get-together recently. There were 4 generations and a zillion people there, and I was sitting in the back corner of the room with Grandpa. Ryan, he says, it seemed like yesterday this room was just me. The days are long, but the years are way too short. At United Faith Mortgage, the best part of my job is helping new home buyers, because I often get to hear about life's little things. My son saw the treehouse in the backyard and we knew it was home. Or, this will be our first basement. We're going to make it an awesome game room. As the years fly by, way too short, I believe that God has given us these kind of little things in the middle of the chaos. It's simply our job to notice and appreciate them. If you happen to be thinking new home, I hope you'll consider us. We're committed to Word FM and one-on-one white glove service. And we also have this fancy direct lender advantage thing that can often save you money at UnitedFaithMortgage.com.
United Mortgage Corp, Melville, New York, NMLS number 1330, Pennsylvania Department of Banking and Securities. Mortgage lender license 22672.
To serve as a ruling elder is a high and holy office. RPTS now offers 5 flexible online courses to help you shepherd the Church of God. The Ruling Elders program features courses on biblical counseling, interpretation, worship, the church, care and administration, plus preaching at elective options that best fit your ministry paradigm. No papers, no exams, just solid biblical teaching from experienced professors. Individual and group rates available. RPTS, study under pastors. Learn more at rpts.edu.
This is Greg Trzynski from the Original Mattress Factory. Sometimes customers are a little surprised when they first walk through our doors. They don't always expect our prices to be so fair for such a high-quality product. My father found that producing our mattresses in our own local factories would eliminate the middleman, providing a higher quality product at a lower price than mainstream brands. It's the secret to our success that we are happy to share with anyone that comes through our doors. Visit an OMF location today to see the Original Mattress Factory secret for yourself.
Guys, are you getting up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? As we get older, so do our prostates, and that can mean urinary problems that affect our sleep and quality of life. Life is better outside the bathroom. Real Health's Prostate Complete can help you relieve those annoying and painful prostate symptoms. Available at Walmart or visit realhealth.com for more information and to order yours today. Try it risk-free with our 120-day money-back guarantee. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease.
This special edition of The Ride Home with John and Kathy is brought to you by Food for the Poor, who are right now responding to the needs of families devastated by Hurricane Fiona. You too can help these precious hurting families. Make your most generous contribution now by clicking the red Hurricane Fiona relief banner at wordfm.com.
For that mom receiving that kit, for that mom receiving that aid, you feel like there is a community out there that cares, and you don't have to do this by yourself.
I mean, that's significant, right? That's powerful. The relief that Food for the Poor is able to provide now. Oftentimes when we talk about, aid, it takes a long time for a container ship to be loaded with materials and supplies. Then it goes across the ocean, finds its way. The fact of the matter is, right now in Puerto Rico, Food for the Poor has been on the ground. So the things are in the warehouses ready to go. We just need your involvement here to help move this forward so we get more hurricane relief kits. Todd Chapman is with us from Food for the Poor. Todd, let's talk about people contacting us and essentially what's in these hurricane kits.
Yeah, absolutely. So to do that, I want to bring into the conversation Jezebel. She works in our Food for the Poor office in Florida. She's actually from Puerto Rico and still has family there. So she's been in touch as she's able to, communicate with her family to kind of get the latest on the ground. But she's the one responsible for making sure that when these things happen, Food for the Poor is prepared and able to offer a response just as quickly as possible. So here's her telling us what's in these kits.
So at Food for the Poor, we build these kits to pre-position them in country ahead of a disaster. We work with 9 in-country partners strategically in places that are hazard prone, disaster prone. And what we have is we want to take care of the entire being, all the essential needs they're going to need. It is for immediate impact for, at the very minimum, 250 families. Call it a bundle of relief aid. We start off with disaster blankets. So they are very cushiony. They're very thick. It helps with warmth, but also at a shelter setting for people to lay on. We also provide tarps. So if people are not in a shelter setting, how can we give them? It's a 20 by 20 foot tarp. So it can, it's the most humble dwelling. If it gets affected, we can give some protection. We also give solar and hand crank radio lanterns. Well, why radios and why? We want them to be aware of the hazard event. What if something else? What if it's an earthquake and there's additional tremors? We want them to receive that communication. We also give oral rehydration salts. So just to help with that absorption of water, we know when it's limited. So oral rehydration salt. Also water purification sachets. They help purify water, muddy water that just needs, to get the dirt out. We provide children's activity kits for emotional well-being. Why children activity kits for emotional well-being? This came from Jamaica. One of our program managers said, Jezebel, parents need something for the kids to do. And we designed this, and I want to say, with a bottom-up collaboration. This came from the voices of those we serve of what they need. And so why? A parent after a disaster is looking around, what do I do? And they don't want their child to be focused on they're figuring things out. They want the child to be able to express themselves, to continue their education if schooling has been impacted. So this is a big enough kit with 3 notebooks, a lot of pencils, crayons, coloring pencils, glue, scissors. So the whole family set of kids can kind of partake in this. And so that's why for us, it's also an emotional and psychosocial support for the family. We also provide diapers. We also provide women's menstrual kits, why women and children are the most vulnerable after a storm. We also provide regular hygiene kits for the whole family. Oh gosh. We also provide bags to put all of this in. You have to put all of this in distribution to carry it. And we also provide a rice bag, a pretty big, kind of like a sandbag material rice. And that's because many of our in-country partners also put together food kits. So we need something sturdy for families to, take back home or in the shelter.
That's a lot of stuff.
That's really cool. That is really cool.
And Yeah, it's cool how they're customized by country and regions because, different countries have, to a certain extent, different climates. I mean, all of our countries that we serve are in the same kind of general regions of the countries, but there's some specific needs that other countries might have over others. So just a lot of time, a lot of care, a lot of learning and education and preparation, a lot of question asking and evaluating after the fact, hey, what could have been better? Always trying to just learn from, experience in doing this, because at the heart of all of this is the care that Food for the Poor and our staff, and that we know our donors, people like you that are going to give money to fund these kits. We're trying to just provide the things that if you were standing right there in front of a donor, or if you were part of the response team, that you would be thinking about, wow, this mom needs this mom needs that. The other thing that she didn't mention, but I know that we do this as well to the extent that we can, if people are in need of any sort of, regular medications, even things like painkillers, things like that, we have opportunities as we can to meet those needs. Because think about that. If you're on some sort of a medication and you lose that during the storm, well, that can be a life-threatening situation. So our partners, we have contacts with medical professionals and hospitals, things like that in the countries. And so just trying to cover all the bases that, need to be covered, especially in the immediate aftermath of a disaster like Hurricane Fiona. And that's what you're funding today. So just want to really encourage you, think about all the good you can do. $66 gift. How many families are represented in the listening audience right now? How many? Raise your hand if you're a mom or a grandma or a dad or yeah, right? So if every family represented here would just do whatever you can, if you could give the full 66 to provide for another family, that'd be amazing. If you could give $33 and you partner with another family here in Western Pennsylvania, and together you minister one of those kits to one of these families, that would be amazing. Thank you for an anonymous donor from, oh boy,
Conniquenessing?
Yes, that.
There we go.
Exactly.
That name.
I was just it was just a little test for you.
Okay.
Kathy passed. John, you not so much.
All right.
This person gave $66, said God is good.
Fabulous.
And just wanted to help in some small way. So thank you for doing that.
Excellent. Okay. So give the number and contact information.
Yeah, totally. So a couple ways you can get in touch. wordfm.com. Just go to the station website. Big banner right there on the homepage. It says Hurricane Fiona Relief. You can click on that. The form's right there. If you're in the car, you can send us a text. The number you're texting to is 91999. So where you would normally put, Schmookums or whoever you text to frequently, just put 91999.
Love you.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite names.
See you soon.
Yeah, right. And then, get milk, whatever. And then where you would type get milk, just put send hope, all one word, send hope. And we'll send a link to your phone. You can click that and go ahead and give your gift.
Very nice. Text 91999. That's all, 91999. And one word, send hope. Even though it's two words, it's really one word, send hope. And so we're talking about Food for the Poor and these hurricane relief kits. And Todd, the key point for me is in the immediate aftermath. You said this, right? We're not talking about something that's going to last a month or two down the road. This is right here, right now, because chaos has ensued and people need the very most basic things. That's what's inside the hurricane relief kit. So you heard, if you're in a shelter situation, they're going to provide you with blankets. If you're not in a shelter situation, a 20 by 20 tarp, solar hand cranked lights and radios, rehydration salts, water purification kits, things for the kids to help them. All this for just $66. Now, people have joined us, as Todd just said, at $66 for one kit. Two kits are $132. Four kits are $246. People have joined us all over the map. Also, we should say this as well, Todd, that a lot of course, people have no power, so you're also offering an opportunity to get generators as well, yeah?
Yeah, generators, a significant need because, and we saw this in Puerto Rico, well, we see it in all the countries when storms strike. But, Puerto Rico is actually not a country that, first of all, it's not a country. Okay, it's a U.S.
territory.
I'm drawing a blank. Territory, thank you. conquenessing. Territory. There you go. And so normally not a part of the world or part of the United States that we serve in, except in times of disaster like we responded 5 years ago during Maria. But remember, if you will, that storm, it knocked out power in some parts of the island for nearly a year. 7 months, people didn't have power.
Wow.
You're going to need a generator. You got to have some way to have power. And if it's true in Puerto Rico, which is a largely developed part of the world, boy, think about Haiti, the Dominican Republic, other Caribbean nations. If they lose power, same situation, they're going to need generators. So yeah, that's another opportunity. A $500 gift will send a generator to one of these families.
Wow.
And the thing that I love about this, if you have the capacity to do this, or maybe you say, hey, we'd like to fund half of a generator, $250, and then we can find another family to do the other half. But think about this. This is actually a long-term provision for one of these families, because not only will it serve them now, but also, when the next storm comes, they've still got the generator. And also the thing that I've seen in the aftermath of these storms, these are very tight-knit communities. And so if a generator is provided to one household, oftentimes they're going to share the love. They're going to share the juice, if you will, literally, right?
Yeah.
So, they can all kind of plug in. And so you're actually ministering potentially to a number of families in a community with that generous gift of a generator, $500. And again, you can do that by texting Send Hope to 91999. Send Hope to 91999. Just got another generous $66 gift. Thank you from, is it Burgettstown?
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Yeah, okay. Awesome. Thank you for that.
Very good. So when you're sitting there and you're listening to Todd talk and think, well, that's really a good thing that someone's doing. That's really good. Someone's going to benefit from this. Well, maybe somebody else will take care of this, right? Well, we would hope that you would not pass this opportunity by, that you, as our regular listener of our show, you would say, yeah, I can do this. I can take care of a family for $66 for the hurricane relief kit, or I can do half a generator or a full generator. Listen, for decades, this is not exaggeration. We have partnered with Food for the Poor here at Word FM Pittsburgh. And so we know firsthand the nature and the quality of Food for the Poor and how they minister with compassion and empathy and Jesus first in all the things that they do. So have no fear about that, about the integrity of this ministry and how they minister to the people. The relief kits are already going to be in place. We just want to send more because we know right now in Puerto Rico, there are literally thousands and thousands of families who have literally truly nothing right now. So in the immediate aftermath of Fiona plowing through the island, Food for the Poor is on the ground. And because there are partners in ministry for all these many years, we hope to encourage you to be part of this as well in small ways or big ways, depending upon what you can feel that you can do. Text 91999, 91999 with the word Send Hope. Text 91999, Send Hope, of course, online at wordfm.com.
When I think about Food for the Poor, and I mention this every time you guys are on the air with us because I think it's that important, my favorite thing is how flexible the organization is and how whatever the need is, Food for the Poor finds a way to meet the need. Yeah. So if you say, well, does Food for the Poor do clean water? Yes. Does Food for the Poor do meal kits? Yes. Does Food for the Poor do tilapia ponds? Yes. Do they do housing? Because they're able to work with people who are already on the ground and they're able to figure out how they can meet the need that exists.
Through the local church.
Exactly. And partners that they've had for years. So it's not like when a disaster like Fiona happens, they're coming in to recreate the wheel. They're coming in the day after the hurricane. What can we do? No, they've been in place the whole time. They have partners already set up. And so that's efficient. It's effective for the people on the ground, and it also gives me confidence when I give to them because I think I'm not paying someone to just fly in after a thing's over and try to figure out what to do.
Here's a Band-Aid.
Exactly. I don't want a Band-Aid. I want people who are already well established who know how best to help the people. So, with all that in mind, Todd, with all the traveling that you've done with Food for the Poor, and I know you haven't been able to because of COVID for the last couple of years, but just talk about the immense variety of people that you've met and the skills they have so that when something like this unexpected strikes, you can call on someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, it's really remarkable. I mean, so you think about, first of all, internally at Food for the Poor, the employees that we've got. So, 300 employees here stateside in South Florida that have all sorts of different areas of expertise. I mean, we've got the people that you would normally think that you'd need to have when you're running a large organization. We've got accountants, we got, the marketing people and all that. But then you've got specialists. We've got people that work in the area of goods procurement, to go buy the stuff and source all of the things that we provide to the people we serve. It can be building materials, it's medicines, it's food, anything you can think of that Food for the Poor distributes. You got to get that somehow, and that takes a lot of hard work, especially when you're talking about getting things like that in massive quantities. Then you've got the logistics department. Can you imagine? I mean, how complicated it is to get goods from wherever they need to go into the various countries they need to go. You've got to negotiate all the deals with the ports and all of that stuff. So we're blessed to have all of those talents internally with people that frankly have been called out of that for-profit workspace to work in the nonprofit sector because they have heart for serving in organizations like Food for the Poor. And then beyond that, man, now you get into the talents and the knowledge and the expertise and the contacts of our partners in the field, the churches and the local municipalities, all of these people. It truly is, the Bible talks about the body of Christ, and we're all different parts and with different functions. That is so true with Food for the Poor. But the most important part of this machine is you, because if this is a vehicle, you are the gas for the vehicle. You can have the nicest vehicle, all, tricked out, good to go, best engine, best seats, loudest radio, no gas. What good's it going to do? Right. You are the gas that makes Fuel for the Poor run. And so we covet, we are asking for your most generous gift right now so that we can serve these people in this dire time of need.
Very nice. So please, won't you join us? Pick up your cell phone and text 91999, 91999, and then type in Send Hope. No space, just one full word, Send Hope to 91999. We're talking about these hurricane relief kits that Food for the Poor is able to provide immediately in the aftermath of Fiona blowing through the island. One kit is $66. It provides tarps, solar hand lights, solar hand radios, rehydration kits, water purification kits, all these things. Things for old people, medication, things for kids as far as crafts and all that, just for the immediate aftermath right now, today, perhaps next week, the week after, in the immediate aftermath, just to come around people and help them out as they start to dig out and recreate their life once again. Text 91999 and Send Hope is what you'll type in, 91999, $66, and of course always online at wordfm.com. You'll see the Food for the Poor banner at the very top of the page. Hey, stay with us. Todd Chapman from Food for the Poor. We got much more ahead. You're welcome to be with us.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I'm still mad at timeshare companies. For over a decade, I've been fighting to clean up the timeshare industry by getting folks out of bad timeshares. But after all those battles, I'm still asked, how do they sell timeshares for $25,000 when they're available online for only $1? Here's how they do it. They lie. They tell you things like, timeshare's a great investment. You can go anywhere, anytime, or your maintenance fees will never go up. Everything they do to get you to sign a timeshare agreement is part of a well-planned trap. If you've ever been held hostage at a timeshare presentation and bought, Wesley Financial Group is here to help. To date, we've canceled timeshares for over 16,000 families. And I guarantee you this, we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare cancellation guide. 800-226-8833. That's 800-226-8833. 800-226-8833.
From Kingstone Studios.
Die right. We are sitting on the pinnacle of the unemployment problem in the nation.
I got 45 signatures against this proposal. Let's stop this!
It's like a rapes friend.
Now they want to purchase a motel and turn it into a shelter for homeless families.
That's what we're supposed to do.
You need some help, Tony. Let me get you into a place.
Slim, I ain't playing with you, man. You don't have to listen to the screams. We realize our homeless feeding and drug rehabilitation programs don't always match eye to eye with the dreams of the city planners.
Things change. You have to run it tomorrow.
No, not a chance.
By far, the nicest thing anybody, black or white, ever done for me.
Pre-order it today at salemnow.com.
Welcome home.
Watch the movie on demand or buy the DVD this Friday at salemnow.com. That's salemnow.com.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
What is a warrior? At Portersville Christian School, it's more than a team name. A warrior is taught to serve, to passionately model the love of Christ toward neighbor, community, and world, to learn as they cultivate academic excellence and a lifelong love of learning from kindergarten to senior year, and to lead through Christian character and integrity. Are you a warrior? Discover Portersville Christian School just 15 minutes north of Cranberry, where warriors are made, at ourpcs.org.
101.5 WORD-FM Pittsburgh. On your smart speaker by saying, play the word Pittsburgh, and on your phone via the Word FM mobile app, iHeart, TuneIn, and Odyssey.
It'll be breezy this evening. Otherwise, we'll see partly cloudy skies. Dress warmly, as we'll see significant chillier weather than recent nights. Expect a low of 44. Mostly sunny and cool tomorrow. Tomorrow will reach a high of 61. Patchy clouds tomorrow night with a low of 44. Beautiful start to the weekend Saturday with intervals of clouds and sunshine. We'll reach a high Saturday of 65. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Drew Shannon.
This special edition of The Ride Home with John and Kathy is brought to you by Food for the Poor, who are right now responding to the needs of families devastated by Hurricane Fiona. You too can help these precious hurting families. Make your most generous contribution now by clicking the red Hurricane Fiona relief banner at wordfm.com.
So as a mom, if I get whatever aid and spiritual support, it means I can yet go another day, right? It means that I can feed my children. I can support them in ways that right now I couldn't on my own.
Because in the immediate aftermath, who can do anything, right? You're just busy taking care of what's in front of you. Forget about going to work. The place where you live is devastated. Your place of employment probably gone. It's just the basics we're talking about, the very, very basics. People talking about TP, right? I mean, we don't think about these things because we're not really truly affected by that. But if you or someone you love has ever been caught up in any sort of emergency like that, right? Something with your house or with your community, everything's brand new. Food for the Poor is with us today. We are talking about the aftermath of Hurricane Fiona on the island of Puerto Rico and our response as believers and how we can put our best foot forward to help those who at this moment cannot help themselves. A hurricane relief kit is available from Food for the Poor for $66. It provides many, many resources that help people through these next couple of weeks. 91999 is what you text right now, 91999. You'll send the word SEND HOPE as you text 91999. Send hope, of course, online at wordfm.com. Todd Chapman is with us from Food for the Poor. Todd, the voices we're hearing, this woman's voice, she is a connector to Food for the Poor in Puerto Rico, from Puerto Rico, so she knows and has contacts. She's hearing from them right now.
Yeah, this is Jezebel, who's been sharing with us yesterday and today. She runs our disaster response team at Food for the Poor. She's from Puerto Rico. She's got family there. And so, she's very, very well acquainted with all of the ins and outs of what Puerto Rico's like in good times and certainly the impact of storms like this. She's in regular contact as long as there's electricity and the phone lines are working. She's talking with her family and really gives us a good perspective on not only what Food for the Poor does, but how these storms are impacting the people in Puerto Rico. And I also want to just remind you, too, it's not just Puerto Rico that's been affected by Maria. It's also impacted Dominican Republic, which is a nation that Food for the Poor has worked in for a number of years. It shares the island with Haiti, and it's one of the poorer countries in the Caribbean. They've been impacted because Fiona moved on from Puerto Rico and then across the Channel and up over the DR and then up in Turks and Caicos and the Bahama Islands as well. But I was reflecting. We shared earlier all the things that go into this $66 relief kit, and one of the things that we provide as well is tarps. Now, just think about this. Look, $66 is $66, and I know things are expensive and tight for a lot of people right now. But my wife, so we've got this little shop nearby where it's like BJ's Shack of whatever he can buy on discount. And it's a great place because you can go and you can, I didn't get this shirt there, but like you can buy a shirt. My son-in-law, he was bragging. He's like, this is my BJ's shirt. I paid like $3 for this shirt. I'm like, that's a really nice shirt for $3. So my wife's in there a couple of weeks ago. She's like, hey, do we need any tarps? And I'm like, I guess you always need a tarp, right? I mean,
who doesn't need a tarp?
You need a tarp. You want. Yeah,
you have 3 tarps you could use 4.
You don't want to go hunting for a tarp.
Right.
What?
I said if you have 3 tarps, you could use 4.
Sure you could.
Yeah, totally, right? So anyway, she's like, well, I'm at BJ's, so I'm going to get a tarp. Okay, that's great. So she comes home like a couple hours later with like 5 tarps. And I'm like, you said a tarp. She's like, I got 5. They were like 5 for $25. And so the point of that story is not that we got a good deal on tarps, but just think about how the cost of these things individually can add up. And for $66, you can do so much good and provide so many really, really vitally needed things that are easily taken for granted until you get hit by a hurricane. And then you're desperate for the flashlight and you're desperate for clean water. That water filtration kit, that's a lifesaver right there. Think about all the impact you can have. $66. Can you trust God for $66? Think about the relief that family's going to feel when that kit comes to them from a local pastor who says, hey, Christians in America, see what you're going through. They care. Here's something to just help you, get you through these first few days. Man, what a blessing you can be. $66. Can we hear from 3 people? I know we're going to a break. Can we hear from 3 people with your best gift? 66, 134, whatever you can do. Come on, let's show some love right now. This is a tough time for families who have just taken a number of body blows because of Hurricane Fiona.
Yeah, truly. When Food for the Poor steps forward, this is the best of Christendom in action, helping those who cannot help themselves. Text 91999 and then type in Send Hope. 91999, Send Hope. Of course, online at wordfm.com.
101.5 WORD.
Where things are really cooking, as well as baking, frying, and grilling. Got a favorite recipe you'd like to share?
A longtime favorite family recipe.
It could win you a $1,000 Williams-Sonoma shopping spree. If you love being around a hot stove.
Being in the kitchen, cooking, I really love that.
Enter the Your Favorite Recipe sweepstakes today. Not only could you win lots of new cookware and cutlery, but your recipe could be published. Just go to wordfm.com/yummy. That's wordfm.com/yummy.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
I'm in.
Hurricane Fiona has ravaged the Caribbean with devastating winds, rainfall, flooding. Food for the Poor is already responding to the needs of the victims of the storm. Emergency kits containing food, clean water, and other relief supplies are positioned and ready to go. We need your help to get them to families in need. Your gift of any amount will help these devastated families. Text SEND HOPE, all one word, to 91999. Text SEND HOPE to 91999 and we'll send you a link to give. Or click the red Hurricane Fiona banner at wordfm.com. Hurricane Fiona has decimated Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. 85-mile-per-hour winds, catastrophic flash floods, mudslides, massive blackouts. The population is devastated. With your help, Food for the Poor is giving relief to storm victims. Your gift of any amount will send even more aid to families devastated by Hurricane Fiona. Please give your best gift now. Text SEND HOPE, all one word, to 91999. Or click the red Hurricane Fiona banner at wordfm.com.
I think we can all agree that every moment at Eden shaped us and impacted who we are right now.
The faith modeled by teachers at Eden Christian Academy has a profound impact on students' lives.
We carry with us more than the academics, but a strong, Christ-centered foundation.
I would just like to thank my teachers, my mentors, my family members, and my friends who have done the best could to help me in this next phase of my life.
Eden Christian Academy, enrolling pre-K through 12th grade at edenchristianacademy.org.
This special edition of The Ride Home with John and Kathy is brought to you by Food for the Poor, who are right now responding to the needs of families devastated by Hurricane Fiona. You too can help these precious hurting families. Make your most generous contribution now by clicking the red Hurricane Fiona relief banner at wordfm.com.
For that mom receiving that kit, for that mom receiving that aid, you feel like there is a community out there that cares, and you don't have to do this by yourself.
So the immediate aftermath of chaos. Has this ever happened to you? I mean, in minor ways, right? Our house was flooded. You know, you come home and the toilet's, been running for the past 6 hours. You're shocked. All right. Has this happened in your life?
Oh, my gosh.
Right? You go, what the heck?
I remember at one point walking into my kitchen and seeing the water pouring out of the ceiling.
Right.
Right. And I think when I left, this wasn't happening.
No. And you are truly in a state of shock.
Yes.
And that, in the whole scale of things, it's bad.
Right.
But not like, your house being crushed by a hurricane.
Right. It's nothing like having that system-wide failure, your whole house.
Failure, right.
I mean, I don't know.
System disappears.
I don't know how you'd even figure out what thing to do first.
No. Thank goodness for Food for the Poor. Christ-centered in their response to all things. Kath and I, we've traveled with Food for the Poor. We've seen the work. I tell you this, it's a really unique thing because it's a giant piece of machinery that goes down to this minutia of there's this massive thing moving forward, and then it becomes one-on-one relational. It's a really kind of stroke of genius, quite honestly. And of course, it's people like you and I who know and love our Lord and Savior, and they've spent many years, of course, in the private sector. And they go, wait a second, I want to use my gifts and talents in a more different way here for a nonprofit to be the hands and feet of Jesus. And that's what they wait for these things to happen. Of course, you don't have to wait long because they happen all the time. That's why Food for the Poor is in place right now. I want you to go to your phone and text 91999, 91999, and then send HOPE. $66 for one hurricane relief kit, which includes a lot of different things to help people through the immediate aftermath. Text 91999 and then type in Send Hope, of course, online at wordfm.com. Todd Chapman is with us from Food for the Poor. Todd, I mean, this is important because, right, we live in this click world. And so next week, people are going to forget about this, right? We're moving on to our lives. So raise awareness now because something else is going to happen and we're going to think elsewhere.
Yeah, our news cycle here is so incredibly fickle. I mean, Actually, I was just kind of, trolling the different news channels today.
Yeah.
And already Hurricane Fiona is all but a distant memory as as far as the news goes. There wasn't massive loss of life. And so that, knocks it down a few rungs, which is really sad. As a broadcaster, as a journalist myself, it hurts my heart to say that. Yep. But it really is the world that we live in. And so, but we must not forget. And that's one of the reasons why we're grateful for partnerships like the one we have here with Word FM, where we can come on and just say, hey, look, people still need our help. That's what we were doing earlier this month before Fiona hit. We were reminding you and encouraging you to continue to be generous and support our ongoing response to provide food for Ukrainian war refugees. And we're still doing that. And we're still feeding the poorest people on this side of the world in countries like Guatemala and Honduras and Haiti. And now we're responding to this hurricane in another part of the Caribbean. Food for the Poor right now just has no shortage of needs that we're trying to meet. And, frankly, we can only do this because of the generous souls of people like you that just stay engaged. And, look, I know you can't give money to everything and you can't give all your money all the time. But what we're hoping and praying for is that at any given moment when we can bring before a group of people, hey, we've got this urgent need right now. Can you help? That there's enough people in that, class of people that would say, you know what? Yeah, I can do that right now. So if that's you, I think you're hearing this for a reason. It's divine appointment. Could you be a part of it? We just got a couple more very generous anonymous gifts here in the last couple of minutes. A couple of people said, hey, we're in for $100. So Wickley is on the board. And then someone from Houston. Is there a Houston, Pennsylvania?
Yes, there is.
Yes, there is.
I didn't know that.
Significantly smaller and lesser known than the one you may have already been to.
But nonetheless vibrant.
Exactly.
Yes. And generous, apparently. So thank you for that. And boy, you combine those gifts, and that's 3 families now receiving these emergency hurricane relief kits. So thank you so much. We would love to hear from another 2 or 3 people here in our final few minutes of this hour. One of the things I wanted to share, though, before we don't have time for me to share this next piece of audio. We'll share it when we come back in the next segment. But I do want to remind you, and I didn't even realize this until I was talking to some of the ladies, Jezebel, and then this other lady who works at Food for the Poor, also from Puerto Rico, Arlene. We'll hear from her in our next segment. But they reminded me, even though Maria was 5 years ago, there are people that are still recovering from that. There are still many, many homes that have never been able to get the tarps off of the roof. They've not even been able to replace the roofs. Right. And now another hurricane. And then I didn't know this either. There have been some earthquakes over the last year or so, and aftershocks. Some pretty big earthquakes in Puerto Rico, like 6.5s. And so there's been a lot of things that make it hard to recover from disasters. It just seems like these people can't get a break. So please activate that heart of compassion that I know you have, and just dig deep. I know every gift is sacrificial, and probably even more so, especially right now. So thank you for whatever you're able to do. If you can't give the 66, then give 33. If you can't give the 66, then give 660. If you can do that, it would be amazing. But could you respond right now? Just text "Send Hope" to 91999. You can give online at wordfm.com.
Very nice. Wouldn't it be great if we lived in a world that was free of chaos, right? We lived in a world that was free of heartbreak, a world that was free of anything that was separating us from the true joy that God has given us in our lives. But that's not this world. Of course, we'll be with God in heaven one day, and in the meantime, we can do better. Right? We can help people who are living in chaos right now. Text 91999 and then type in "Send Hope." 91999, "Send Hope," or online at wordfm.com to help people suffering in the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Fiona. Stay with us.
Do you know how much you're really paying for life insurance through work? I can almost guarantee you're overpaying for limited coverage. I'm Joel Clark, a Select Quote agent for over 20 years. My clients are shocked to learn how expensive life insurance at work really is because of a rate that's driven up by unhealthy people. Why pay more when you don't have to? For over 35 years, Select Quote has helped people save 50% or more by shopping highly rated insurance carriers. I found a 40-year-old man with high blood pressure, a $500,000 policy for only $18 a month. Don't procrastinate. Workplace Open enrollment will be here soon. Let SelectQuote save you money and get you the coverage you need to protect your family.
For your free quote in just minutes, call 1-800-865-2266. That's 1-800-865-2266. 1-800-865-2266. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Full details on example policy and carrier ratings at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Price could vary by health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Bachman's Roofing and Solar is your local award-winning roofer. Stop waiting. It's time to inspect your roof and protect your home's #1 asset. With no interest and no payment financing for 12 months, Bachman's Roofing is your easy choice for roofing, gutters, and solar. Did you know Bachman's Roofing is one of the #1 GAF solar integrated roofing installers in the USA? Go with Bachman's. Go with solar and install the roof that pays for itself. Call 412-744-8390 or visit bachmansroofing.com.
You're not who you were 25 years ago. Your life's more complex. People change, families change, and the law changes. This is Jay Hagerman of Abernathy and Hagerman, and a proper estate plan should keep up with those changes. That's why Abernathy and Hagerman presents free ongoing estate planning workshops with attorney Dan Reimer, someone who's really good at making complex concepts sound so simple, so you can protect what's yours and to ensure that your will is done. The next one's happening soon. For details and to attend, visit a-h.law.
Hurry into the Energy Savings Event at Lowe's. Save energy and save money on select major appliances, including Whirlpool energy efficient appliances. You can also save with a smart thermostat. Right now, select Google Nest Learning thermostats are $60 off. Plus, find other great energy saving items throughout the store and check your eligibility for rebates in your area to save even more. Don't miss the Energy Savings Event at Lowe's. Selection varies by location. Exclusions apply. Visit Lowe's.com for details. Valid through 9/28.
Being a believer in Christ means a lifelong pursuit of getting to know God better. The devotional book titled God Is examines 26 attributes of God, one short chapter at a time. As you request a copy of the book from Truth for Life today, you'll learn about God's patience, His holiness, His faithfulness, just to name a few. And you'll learn how these characteristics were perfectly displayed in the Lord Jesus. Visit truthforlife.org/donate.
About a year or so ago, I had an accident and someone totaled my car. And so, the good news is here in this country, you got insurance that sort of covers things. I was bummed because I love that car, but then, things get taken care of, right? How much insurance do you have? Life insurance, home insurance, automobile, everything's covered. Right? And if something's valuable in your life, you cover it, right? You pay your monthly premium. Now, the people we're talking about here in Puerto Rico, I mean, especially the people who are getting the hurricane relief kits, they don't have this. There's no insurance company stepping in. Government response is tepid at best, right? And this is an advanced country.
It takes so long to get things to the island.
Right. And so in the midst of Hurricane Fiona, they rely on, and this is the truth. How often does, Christians are maligned in this world? Oh, Christians this, Christian. Truly, more often than not, Christians are on the front lines of providing care, compassion, and relief for people whose lives are in turmoil. Food for the Poor is with us today. Once you go to your phone and hit 91999, 91999, and then type in one word, Send Hope. 91999, then type in Send Hope, of course, online at wordfm.com. Todd Chapman is with us. Todd, we've got just a few minutes left, but insight here from you.
Well, I wanted to share a couple comments from Arlene. She works with Food for the Poor in our Florida office. She's from Puerto Rico, and she's talking about how what we were talking about a couple of minutes ago, how the country's hurting from the last disasters.
5 years ago, we had Maria, the worst hurricane in the history of the United States and Puerto Rico. On January 2020, Puerto Rico got two different earthquakes, 6 point and above, that really caused a lot of damage in the infrastructure. Those earthquakes have been followed by tremors that to this day have not stopped. We have about minimum 3 to 4 tremors a day. And it's in exactly the same region where the hurricane hit, all the southern part and the southwest part of the island. So it's a geographic area that has been debilitated by these natural phenomenons of earthquakes and tremors. We see infrastructure that cracks, and that we see in that instance, in that January, there were many houses that were completely destroyed. Individuals that have to leave their houses because they're not going to be able to live through them because they're not safe. Schools that were closed because they could not ensure the safety of the kids in the classrooms because the structure was damaged because of the earthquakes. So on top of that, now we have a Category 2 hurricane that, with the flooding, has really destroyed not only nature, but also the infrastructure, and infrastructure that was already weakened with all the other disasters.
So you can see why it is so important that if you have the ability, the capacity, and most importantly, the heart to do something right now to help our brothers and sisters in Puerto Rico, in the Dominican Republic in the wake of Hurricane Fiona, we just ask that you would do this right now. A gift of any amount. If you could do $66, you're providing emergency relief kit for a family. A gift of, I think it's, now I'm going to do math, and that's danger zone, as John knows, because he was ridiculing me about my bad math earlier, which I deserved. I think it's $264 will provide for 4 families. That generator, $500 gift, just planting some seeds of ideas. But as we go to break, praying that a number of you will respond and really let people in these countries feel our love right now.
Won't you join us? Text 91999, 91999, and then type in Send Hope. $66 provides a hurricane relief kit from Food for the Poor, which you yourself are fronting the $66 for. 2 or 132, 4 or 246, or a generator, whatever it is you can do. Right now, even as we speak, in families' lives, women, children, old people, they're hanging on. They could use our help. That's why we come to you today. wordfm.com, or as the text 91999, Send Hope, the hurricane relief kits from Food for the Poor. We're going to step away for just a few minutes. I'd ask you please to prayerfully consider this, think about this, and then take the action moving forward to help people's lives who are in turmoil from Hurricane Fiona in Puerto Rico. Stay with us. For Pittsburgh's Christian Talk, it's The Ride Home with John and Kathy.
Listen on your smart speaker at wordfm.com, the Word FM app, iHeart, TuneIn, and on Odyssey. In your car or at home, too, at 101.5 WORD-FM, Pittsburgh.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Republicans have staved off an effort by Senate Democrats to put new restrictions on campaign contributions.
The Disclose Act would have forced so-called dark money groups, those who spend money on elections, to reveal the names of donors who give more than $10,000. Democrats argue it's a matter of transparency. GOP leader Mitch McConnell calls the bill an insult to the First Amendment. Knowing the bill had no chance of passage, Democrats forced the vote to make Republicans go on record against the new restrictions, hoping it may tarnish their image ahead of the midterm elections. Bob Agnew reporting.
The number of Americans filing for jobless benefits rose slightly last week. Applications for unemployment benefits for the week ending September 17th rose by 5,000 to 213,000, according to the Labor Department. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 63 points and the NASDAQ off 145. This is SRN News.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
When it comes to higher education, it's worth considering a Christian university or college, one that reaffirms students' faith instead of tearing it down. Research shows that students who attend a Christian college can become significantly more committed to their faith, and that's an important investment to make. You care about the type of people who are teaching the classes and about the content of the courses just as much as you do about the strength of the academics. It matters that Christian faith is supported and shared. Find out about many schools at once by attending the free Christian College Fair with representatives of colleges and universities from across North America. Start planning now. Take advantage of the opportunity to meet with representatives from top Christian colleges throughout the country. Learn about financial aid, scholarship opportunities, and more. Take your first step to a Christian college education at Orchard Hill Church in Wexford, Saturday, September 24th from 11 to 1. That's the Pittsburgh Christian College Fair, Saturday, September 24th at Orchard Hill Church in Wexford from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. More at findyourchristiancollege.com.
At the Original Mattress Factory, quality is at the heart of everything we do. While mainstream mattress companies have decreased their quality to cut costs, OMF still hand builds our mattresses and box springs to last. We build two-sided mattresses that can be flipped and rotated to improve long-term comfort and durability. We also build real flexing box springs that act as a shock absorber for the mattress. It's all designed with you in mind. Visit an OMF location today to see the Original Mattress Factory difference for yourself.
Meet Brad. Brad's hard at work, or at least his website is. Ever since he added live chat with Salem Surround, Brad's customers are getting their questions answered 24/7. Website purchases have gone up 35%, and they're over 3 times more likely to buy from him again. No bots, just real people helping real people. Live chat. One of the easiest, most affordable ways Salem Surround can increase your business while you do other things, or nothing at all. Ask us how at surroundpittsburgh.com.
It'll be breezy this evening. Otherwise, we'll see partly cloudy skies. Dress warmly as we'll see significant chillier weather than recent nights. Expect a low of 44. Mostly sunny and cool tomorrow. Tomorrow will reach a high of 61. Patchy clouds tomorrow night with a low of 44. Beautiful start to the weekend Saturday with intervals of clouds and sunshine. We'll reach a high Saturday of 65. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Drew Shannon.
Welcome to another edition of The Ride Home with John and Kathy, live from the Salem-Pittsburgh studios. And now here are your hosts, John Hall and Kathy Emmons.
Hey, the times they are changing. In exactly 4 hours, we'll slip from summer into fall. Just saying.
And in 3 hours and 15 minutes, the Steelers will kick off the game with the Cleveland Browns.
Who will have a better season?
Yeah. All of us or the Steelers.
Okay, so are you watching?
What kind of question is that?
You might be busy. You might have other plans.
What could I possibly have to do that I would do?
Parent-teacher conference?
No. Other than watching the Steelers?
Nuclear treaty appraisal? I don't know.
Though I wonder how difficult the experience will be.
I imagine that this evening all of us will have a snack of despair.
Yeah. Do you think so?
Probably so.
Are you thinking that the Steelers will lose?
Oh, I think all bets are off at this point. Wouldn't you say so?
Yes.
Do you have a lot of confidence?
No.
Of course not.
Of course I don't have confidence, But I also feel like...
You're a fan, and they're my team.
I want to think that they're going to eke out a victory.
After last week?
With a kick? I mean, we're not going to...
so low,
We're not
isn't
going
it?
to doink again like last week.
You don't think?
No. I mean, the kick is not going to hit the upright like last week. No.
Mitch or Kenny?
It's going to be Mitch.
It'll be Mitch starting.
No,
and Mitch will finish?
Yes, I think Mitch will finish.
Kenny's going to be there.
No, I don't. I feel like
Mason?
No, Mason's out.
Mason's done.
Sorry.
All right.
Yeah. No, I think Kenny's later in the season, or maybe next season. I would like to see Mitch get through the whole season. I would like there to be enough forward momentum for the offense that he could stay with it for the whole season. Give Kenny a chance to marinate.
Marinate, yeah. Watching Mitch last week was like watching Ben Roethlisberger's less talented little brother.
And with the same offense. So I'm not sure why we don't just have Ben.
I don't
It's
know.
just
No, because Ben couldn't move at all.
But so how about we come up with a different plan?
They had a season to do this.
Okay, I know, but nothing happened.
And they
it
didn't
looked
ask
just
us.
like I feel like I was watching all the same places
Exactly.
last year, and they were every bit as painful.
That's Matt Canada.
Oh, good grief!
Right. Do you have snacks?
I do have snacks.
What
I
do you
stopped
have?
at the Strip today.
Hey, so you got nice snacks.
Yeah, I got some tabbouleh.
Oh.
I got some Kalamata hummus.
Oh, very nice.
I was at the Greek market.
Yeah.
I have pita.
Yeah.
And a very nice tuna salad.
Oh, very nice. Well, those aren't really snacks. That's more like,
Well, but it's an 8:15 start. It's
Right.
dinner, right? It has to be dinner.
Right. How about like pigs in a blanket? Would you ever do that?
I haven't.
When's the last
had
time you had
pigs
that?
When I maybe when I was in 8th grade.
Hot dogs and dough.
I haven't had that. Or no, what pigs in a blanket? What are you talking? I'm talking about like stuffed cabbage.
Oh, no. I'm talking about the hot dogs. What do they
and the
call
crescent rolls.
Yeah.
That's low rent.
What do they call that? I thought that was pigs in a blanket.
It is, but that's low rent.
That's what I'm saying. It's perfect for a game of despair. Right? I look forward to a hot dog wrapped in dough, dipped in mustard.
Right.
That's all I got.
Okay. Let's bring Todd Chapman into this conversation because you're in Michigan. So there are a lot of Eastern Europeans in your area. So you have to have some stuffed cabbage around there of high quality, yes? Or is it just all Dutch?
Well, so I live on the west side of the state, so it's more Dutch over on this side. Now in Detroit, yeah, you've got more Eastern Europeans over there. I grew up over there, but I don't remember a whole lot of like what they've got. I know the punchkis are a thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, a large Polish population in Detroit, so punchkis or whatever you call them when that comes around.
Right.
That's a thing. I'm a little bit. I'm curious though. Like, who thought it was a good idea to get a quarterback from the Bears?
Right. Yeah. So cast-offs from the Bears are not usually recommended.
No.
Not lately.
Well,
not for the last 25 years.
Yeah, it's not like it's Jim McMahon.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, at least Jim McMahon, if he didn't bring it on the field, it was redeeming in other ways.
Yes, it was. It was always entertaining. That's for sure.
Right. I think Mike Singletary's kids are playing now. I think that's how long ago that was.
What the heck?
Yeah. Surely you have to be able to beat Cleveland, though. Talk about a state of complete disarray.
It's a whole new day. Again, what's what we're saying here.
I want to say, Todd, that of course we would be able to meet Cleveland. We would be able to beat Cleveland in disarray. Of course we would.
With one hand behind our back.
After watching the debacle against the Patriots last week, my confidence is at low ebb.
Because the Patriots were a bad team. We were a worse team.
Yeah. We were like,
this is all relative. I mean, keep in mind, I'm in Michigan. Okay?
Yeah, right.
Like, you know,
I heard Detroit was favored for the first time in 3 years last weekend.
Favored to what? Win 2 games?
Win one game, just one.
In the way back, I don't even know if you guys know this. In the way back, I actually, for 1 year, one fateful year, I was on the broadcast team with the Detroit Lions radio network.
What?
Really, though?
It was the year that they won nary a game.
Oh, good.
Oh.
And then they let you go.
Every one of them.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was my fault.
Right, exactly. Hey,
Boy,
get rid of that new guy.
That's a rough gig.
That is a rough gig.
That is tough.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be great. I'm like, I get to go all the games for free. And then I'm like, Lions.
We stink.
Right.
Sorry.
Barry Sanders seems a long time ago.
Was that George Plimpton? Man. Was it the what was the book that he wrote about he spent a year with the Detroit Tigers or the Detroit Lions?
I don't know.
Remember that? I think
No.
Yeah. Remember that?
You were with the Lions 1 week?
Yeah. Anyway, that's another.
No, I'll look it
story
up
for
though.
another day. All right. Anyway, Todd, why are you here?
I am here to, more than talk football and pigs and blankets, although, John, I'm with you on that. That's like the ultimate comfort food.
It
Yum, so good. But the Greek, man, Kathy, score.
Thank you.
We're here to invite you to be a part of ministering to people in need in the wake of Hurricane Fiona. Folks in Puerto Rico, folks in the Dominican Republic, and no watching football there. That's not even on the radar screen. I mean, they're mucking out their houses. They're worried about how they can get tarps to cover up the holes in the roof that no longer is on top of the house. And it's an opportunity for you to just bring some love through Food for the Poor. We've been working in that part of the world for 40 years now, hand in hand with local churches. Even before the hurricanes came, we had pre-positioned a bunch of these hurricane relief kits, and now we have begun to distribute those to families. But John, one of the things you talked about last hour, and it was dead on, this is the immediate aftermath, right? This is the immediate, urgent kind of triage response in that phase of this right now, yeah. But subsequent to this, because it takes a while to recover from these, we will continue to and we're doing it right now, gathering even more supplies, packaging them up, shipping them into Puerto Rico, into the DR, because we're going to need to sustain a response. And so, it's vital that you give right now this immediate response, but also in the days to come, if you have capacity, and maybe you could just maybe put a tickler note in your calendar or something, and you have the ability, maybe you give a little bit of money right now, and then a month from now you could check back in with us, at our website and see what's going on and give then as well, because this really is such a labor of love of God's people. I said this yesterday, and it's true. 40 years Food for the Poor has existed. Wow. No government funding, no federal grants, nothing like that. The only reason we are able to render even a single bag of rice or a cup of water in Jesus' name is because of you, people like you who have such beautiful hearts. You give sacrificially. I mean, Food for the Poor, for the most part, is built on the gifts of just everyday people up and down the street who give $50 here and $200 there, and maybe the occasional, you can give $1,000 or $500. That's largely the support base of Food for the Poor. So you are so vitally important, especially at times like this, and we're just so grateful that you would even consider letting God use you to be a part of meeting this need today.
Amen to that. Yeah, and Todd, to me, that's really a key thing about the excellence of Food for the Poor. I mean, you read the headlines today that there has been billions and billions of dollars of fraud that have been perpetrated, by ordinary citizens over these last couple of years during the COVID relief thing. Billions and billions of dollars just, disappeared into someone's bank account. Millions, in the state of Minnesota. So when the government gets involved,
all bets are off.
Of course, because you never know, right? Where's the integrity of your elected officials and those underlings to do the right things? Of course, the government does a lot of good things. They do a lot of good things right. But in an instance like this, where we're saying, let us be the hands and feet of Jesus Christ in action, and let the church, this local church here, act as also the global church, reaching across the water, helping men and women and families with their immediate needs. And they're not taking any government money. If they did, all of a sudden there'd be these structures in place where you couldn't talk about Jesus, you couldn't preach, you couldn't pray. You know what I'm talking about. So here, in the immediate aftermath, where people are suffering today, right now, Food for the Poor is on the ground in Puerto Rico with these hurricane relief kits. $66 is what it takes for one of these kits, which includes tarps, hand-cranked lights, hand-cranked radios, dehydration salts, water purification kits, things for the kids. So they're like, school's closed. What am I going to do? Hey, mom and dad, help me out here. All these things we don't even think about. Food for the Poor, well ahead of the curve, has put these initiatives in place already. They're on the ground. We just need a little extra bump forward to get more kits in the pipeline. $66. We would say to you, please pick up your phone and text in the numbers 91999. 91999. You text that, and then one word, send hope. That's it. And then you'll connect with Food for the Poor, $66. Maybe you could do one hurricane relief kit, or two, or four, or more. And even more so, you think about the complete devastation. People don't have any power. They need electricity. A generator costs $500. Where are we in the mix of all this, helping people right now who cannot help themselves? Text 91999, send hope, or of course, always online, wordfm.com. You'll see the Food for the Poor banner at the very top of the page. In the immediate aftermath, what can we help to relieve people's pain and suffering? Join us with Food for the Poor.
101.5 WORD.
Sometimes our morning devotionals can be fantastic, and sometimes they can be really bland as we read the scriptures. Here's Jeff Norris.
Please, God, make it delightful. Yes, Lord, I want it to be because I so desire it. But human reality, our life, there's so many mornings where that's not there. So what do we do?
Living a lifestyle of radical dependence on Christ. Next time on Family Life Today with David and Wilson.
Tomorrow morning at 9 on 101.5 Word FM WORD.
Okay,
lemon from the start.
The acerola cherries.
Alfalfa leaf, aloe vera, apples, banana.
Beets, bell pepper, broccoli. Blueberries, blackberries, cranberry.
We make Texas Superfood from 55 raw, vine-ripened fruits and vegetables.
Pineapple, sweet potato, papaya, parsley, pear, peach.
In a capsule or a powder, one daily dose of Texas Superfood delivers the healthy benefits of 55. Count them, 55 fresh fruits and vegetables, and you can see them all on TexasSuperfood.com.
Raspberry, spinach, the nutrients that we need on a daily basis.
Thousands of people benefit from taking Texas Superfood every day. Shouldn't you be one of them? Doctors, pharmacists, nurses, and your grandmother all recommend that you eat more fruits and vegetables every day. So if you can't, won't, or don't, Texas Superfood is made for you.
TexasSuperfood.com. It's borderline shocking how much energy I have. I hope you use me for the TexasSuperfood.com.
Join us on TexasSuperfood.com.
TexasSuperfood.com.
Hurricane Fiona has ravaged the Caribbean with devastating winds, rainfall, flooding. Food for the Poor is already responding to the needs of the victims of the storm. Emergency kits containing food, clean water, and other relief supplies are positioned and ready to go. We need your help to get them to families in need. Your gift of any amount will help these devastated families. Text SEND HOPE, all one word, to 91999. Text SEND HOPE to 91999 and we'll send you a link to give. Or click the red Hurricane Fiona banner at wordfm.com. Hurricane Fiona has decimated Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. 85-mile-per-hour winds, catastrophic flash floods, mudslides, massive blackouts. The population is devastated. With your help, Food for the Poor is giving relief to storm victims. Your gift of any amount will send even more aid to families devastated by Hurricane Fiona. Please give your best gift now. Text SEND HOPE, all one word, to 91999. Or click the red Hurricane Fiona banner at wordfm.com.
Doug. Hey, listener. Welcome to Limu's Karaoke Lounge, where Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need, and the music never stops. Hit it.
There's an emu with a full-time job. His partner's Doug, but Limu's the heartthrob. Grubs and worms, that's what Limu eats. Gotta fuel up to save you money and hit the streets.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
This special edition of The Ride Home with John and Kathy is brought to you by Food for the Poor, who are right now responding to the needs of families devastated by Hurricane Fiona. You too can help these precious hurting families. Make your most generous contribution now by clicking the red Hurricane Fiona relief banner at wordfm.com.
For that mom receiving that kit, for that mom receiving that aid, you feel like there is a community out there that cares, and you don't have to do this by yourself.
Yeah, I think that's really key, that in the midst of chaos, a lot of people are kind of, left to their own devices, making it up as they go along. They're relying on the kindness of friends, people in the community. And then Food for the Poor is there. Now, if you don't know anything about Food for the Poor, I would really encourage you to just go online and check them out. It's an incredibly big organization, but they're so big that they also can break it down very quickly and simply one-on-one. I've seen it. I've traveled with Food for the Poor. It's been a great honor to be in the company of Food for the Poor, their staff, to go into their warehouse, to see the resources that are available, to be able to feed people. One of the great memories of my life is that we were in Haiti, and they were like, hey, we're going to do this, the food line, and so you can scoop out. Here's a big scoop, and you give people a scoop of rice. And there's this line of probably a couple hundred people coming up and getting this meal, this basic meal.
Did you screw it up?
No, I did the rice thing. I felt confident in my ability there.
Did you? Because I screwed it when I
did.
I screwed it up.
I'll just screw it up.
I got nervous.
Why?
Well, because I was a little unsure about what order we were doing things in, and so I screwed it up. That's okay. The authorities came and corrected me.
Thank goodness, right? But isn't that really cool what you were part of?
It's wonderful.
Because there are people, if they don't eat, right, they're not going to eat because Food for the Poor is there.
Yep.
And to be connected with that, I just love it. I think about it often.
I do too.
And the power of that. Something so big can also be so tiny. It's a beautiful slice of ministry. And so, won't you join us right now? Here's the deal. you know this as well as I do. When you get on your phone and you go to like your news feed, and I'm using my index finger and I'm flipping up, and I'm going past tragedy, calamity, heartbreak, sorrow, pain, murder,
and a lot of angst.
Any indignity you can imagine. And then there's my little finger just pushing it along. Of course, it has an effect on you, whether we know it or not, right? I'm ingesting something. So you probably did this as well as I did. Oh, hurricane in Puerto Rico. There's my little finger moving it forward, out of sight, out of mind. But the fact of the matter is, these are real people, right? These are children. These are old people. These are moms and dads, people just like you and I. They wake up, they take care of things, they pay their bills, they go to work, they do their thing. They love Jesus. They're part of something. But their lives have been crushed once again. And here I am, scrolling, moving my finger. Please, I just say this. As part of our regular family, you tuned in here because you've been part of this, right? You know who we are. You hear us. Good, bad, ridiculous. This is who we are. And so we do. We invite onto the platform ministries that Kath and I have been connected with, associated with. And today it's Food for the Poor. And we're talking about Hurricane Fiona and the devastation in Puerto Rico. And so here's an opportunity for us all. Hurricanes devastated people's lives. For $66, Food for the Poor has these hurricane relief kits, which include tarps, hand-cranked lights and radios, rehydration salts, fresh water, food, purification kits, all these things for people to live today, wherever they lay their head down tonight. And for a lot of these people, home is gone once again. But there's something there because of the work that Food for the Poor does. But it requires you and I, in some ways, to have a muscle to make this happen. So $66 is for one of these hurricane relief kits. Now, look, I get it. You don't wake up this morning and think, I got $66. I'll just throw away somewhere. And I'm not saying you're going to throw it away, but you know what I mean. $66 is $66, right? It does a lot. So what does it do for you? What can it do for you? What can it do for you in the name of Jesus with the excellence of Food for the Poor already on the ground in Puerto Rico? Text right now, 91999, 91999, and then fill in the blank, type in Send Hope. Text 91999, Send Hope. Or, of course, online at wordfm.com. All right? Please join us right now. Todd Chapman with us from Food for the Poor. He essentially is the eyes and the ears on the ground. Todd, talk about that. I mean, this dichotomy that Kath and I, we talk about. The warehouse, the machinery, it's a big chunk, but it's also extremely tiny. And I've seen it in action with you, walking into a warehouse and greeting people, who work for Food for the Poor.
Yeah, it's... it's interesting because it's a work that is never finished. And, I've been in those same warehouses multiple times on trips to Haiti and Guatemala. And it's interesting because I remember one trip to Haiti where we have a large warehouse right in the heart of Port-au-Prince. And I was in there, I think we flew into the country like on, say, a Monday, and we were flying back out on a Thursday. And when we came in on Monday, it was pretty full. There's a lot of, mountains of bags of rice and beans and everything you can imagine. John, you've seen it, Kathy, you as well. When I came back in there, 3 days later, there was still a lot of stuff in there, but it was completely different stuff. And it just really struck me because that was just 3 days and it was a full warehouse. And, the trucks are always backing in, coming and going. And I was just reminded of man, this is a real significant effort that's continually going on here. But in spite of all of that, and we're shipping, hundreds or thousands of containers, like we're talking tractor trailer loads worth of goods into 17 countries. Normally every year. And then this year we've added Ukraine feeding needs to that. And now, of course, we've got Fiona that we're responding to. If anything, the needs continue to mount. And Food for the Poor We're not like, it's not like we're doubling in our staff every year, right? I mean, we're largely the same organization as far as people that we've been for the last 5 to 10 years, but the needs continue to grow. And I just say all that because I believe it's a clarion call to the church at large to continue to be faithful in, number one, keeping a tender heart. And I'm kind of haunted lately by Jesus' words in, I think it's in Matthew, where he's talking about the signs of the end of the age. And that passage where he talks about, because it says, because of the increase of wickedness, the hearts of many will grow cold. And I think, if we look around the world, you don't have to look very hard to figure out that, man, it sure does seem like there's a whole lot of badder and more bad stuff going on, and people are just not on a good progression overall. And it's easy for us as Christians, I know it is for me, to just be like, you know what good is whatever I can do to beat that back or to make a positive difference? What good is it going to do? But I was convicted when I read that passage because I thought, maybe that's what Jesus was talking about when he said, the hearts of many will grow cold. But then he goes on to say later, but those who persevere to the end will be saved. Right. And I think that's an important thing that we need to remember. Yeah. We need to continue to do the good work. There's another passage I was reading today that said, don't grow weary in doing good. Do not grow weary in doing good. And I think it's something that we need to hear as Christians today. We kind of need a little bit of a coach pep talk right now, right? Don't stop doing good. I know things are expensive. I know it's hard. I know there's all this bad news and gloom and doom in the headlines. But as Christians, we need to look to the hills from whence cometh our help. God has not changed. God's wherewithal, God's provision, God's faithfulness has not changed in spite of what's going on in the world. And to the extent that we believe that as followers of Jesus, and we continue to operate in that faithfulness, in that trust of God's provision and his goodness, then we continue to be a shining light in an increasingly dark world. God will be proclaimed. Christ will be lifted up. People's lives will be impacted and changed. And I know that's what motivates me personally. To keep going, because sometimes it gets hard. Just frankly, it gets kind of hard, and I got a great job. I get to go to radio stations either in person or virtually and just share these needs and invite my brothers and sisters to give. But sometimes you just feel like, man, I wish we could raise a little bit more money. Mm-hmm. And that's driven by the fact that, like you guys, I've seen what more money can do. I've seen that more money means more help, means more changed lives. And so I really just want to encourage you, please don't become apathetic. Please don't let your heart grow cold. Please don't be tight-fisted. God will provide as we hold on to things loosely. If we give, he gives us more so we can continue to give, and that's how the world is transformed.
Amen to that. Hey, won't you join us? I mean, you can hear the passion in Todd's voice. He lays it out very succinctly in our call here as believers. 91999. Text that right now and then type in Send Hope. 91999. Send Hope. Of course, online at wordfm.com. We're looking for you. One hurricane relief kit, $66. Maybe you could do 2 or 3, or maybe you could do a monthly gift. Whatever it is, please be that balm of peace and healing. Take action right now.
This is Kathy Emmons. John and I are grateful for the encouragement we have from all of our advertisers, and especially our friends at Grove City College. Thanks to everyone at Grove City for supporting The Ride Home.
Attention. If you owe back taxes to the IRS, this message is for you. Congress has passed $80 billion in funding to more than double the size of the IRS. 87,000 new IRS employees means more audits, collections, and penalties. This will make the IRS larger than the Pentagon, State Department, FBI, and Border Control combined. Now is the time to call Civic Tax Relief.
I owe the IRS $37,000. Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Their tax resolution specialists can stop the IRS from taking money out of your paycheck.
With Civic Tax Relief, they were able to save me upwards of $80,000 that I would have had to pay.
For your free tax relief information, call now. 800-506-5803. That's 800-506-5803.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
800-506-5803.
You know, it's true. Difficult times have a way of focusing us. We have to think about what matters most when it comes to our spending, our health care. No doubt. This is why so many people are joining Medi-Share right now. Medi-Share is a trusted way to save up to 50% on your monthly healthcare costs. More than 400,000 people have already made the switch. It's pretty obvious why, too, especially now during this challenging season with healthcare costs and out-of-pocket expenses going up. Medi-Share can save you a lot of money. The typical family saves $500 a month. And Medi-Share is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry that's worked beautifully for 29 years. There are different options to choose from to fit your budget. I'll give you the number here in a second, and if you call, you can get a price within 2 minutes. Maybe now is the perfect time to make the switch and start saving. Here you go. Call 844-45-BIBLE. That's 844-45-BIBLE. 844-45-BIBLE.
Are you ready to deepen your faith on a spectacular 9-day Mediterranean cruise? Join Alistair Begg in August 2023 to renew your vision, purpose, and connection with Christ as Alistair powerfully unpacks God's Word. Explore the biblical landscapes Paul encountered as he shared the gospel along breathtaking cliffside villages. Simply call 855-565-5519 or visit deeperfaithcruise.com for all the details.
Ask Alexa to play the word Pittsburgh to hear us there. We're on your Google speaker, too. Plus iHeart, TuneIn, and on Odyssey. 101.5 WORD-FM, Pittsburgh.
It'll be breezy this evening. Otherwise, we'll see partly cloudy skies. Dress warmly as we'll see significant chillier weather than recent nights. Expect a low of 44. Mostly sunny and cool tomorrow. Tomorrow will reach a high of 61. Patchy clouds tomorrow night with a low of 44. Beautiful start to the weekend Saturday with intervals of clouds and sunshine. We'll reach a high Saturday of 65. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Drew Shannon.
This special edition of The Ride Home with John and Kathy is brought to you by Food for the Poor, who are right now responding to the needs of families devastated by Hurricane Fiona. You too can help these precious hurting families. Make your most generous contribution now by clicking the red Hurricane Fiona relief banner at wordfm.com.
So as a mom, if I get whatever aid and spiritual support, it means I can yet go another day, right? It means that I can feed my children. I can support them in ways that right now I couldn't on my own.
Some aid, some help, right? Just the basics is what we're talking about right now in the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Fiona that has crushed through Puerto Rico once again. We're here today to raise funds to help mothers, to help their children, old people, anyone who's been in the path of Fiona. We're fortunate, of course, here, right? We don't have this to worry about in Western Pennsylvania. But won't you take a moment here? Here it is. It's 5:33, and Todd Chapman with us from Food for the Poor. Todd's going to leave here at the top of the hour. But take a moment and text 91999, 91999, and then you'll type in Send Hope. Send Hope to send something, a hurricane relief kit to those people in Puerto Rico right now. And Todd, we talked about this a little earlier in the show. As part of this hurricane relief kit, of course, it's a tarp. And I don't know about you, but, to me, sort of in some ways, the blue tarp is kind of like the international symbol of something's wrong, right? Because when you see blue tarps, whether it was like, Hurricane Katrina or, you name it, you see like tarp cities. And I know that this is exactly those blue tarps are what's happening right now in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I remember my first trip not long after joining Food for the Poor. It was 2011, about a year, almost, a year to like the week after the devastating Haiti earthquake in 2010. And flying into Port-au-Prince, my very first time in Haiti. And that's when my first visual recollection of Haiti is just the sea of blue tarps. They called it tarp cities, right? Tent cities. And people lived in those tent cities until those tents were no longer inhabitable. It was, the recovery was that long. And wow. Yeah, and still to this day, 10, 12 years later, the country's not the same. And that's still going on. Said this earlier. Some people, even in Puerto Rico, this is a U.S. territory. This is compared to Haiti. This is, first world, right? Heaven. And there's still people that haven't been able to recover from Maria. And now here comes Fiona. So, but you're right. And, the thing that the thing that I just can't escape is that, when you think about, I know these catastrophes, these disasters can kind of seem overwhelming. And just the state of the world. I mean, there's so much need everywhere. And I get it. It can be overwhelming. But when you actually kind of back away a little bit and kind of try to step away from the emotion of it and just kind of look at it analytically, the majority of the world, is living outside of those states of disaster. Yeah. And we're doing okay, right? And especially in America, compared to the rest of the world, man, we're doing really, really well. Yeah. And so we have a little extra capacity, most of us, on any given day, where when we hear about a need, we can say, you know what, I can help in that regard. And I just really want to encourage Christians especially to dwell in that space. In Timothy, I think it talks about always be ready to use your money to do good, right? It's almost like Jesus is saying, hey, when you hear about a need, don't hesitate. Just respond. I don't know about you. I can talk myself out of doing a whole lot of stuff that I know God is calling me to do. I start thinking about the monthly cash flow. I start thinking about, well, what if it doesn't really do what they say? No. We're supposed to just say, God has brought this opportunity. I have the ability to help. I'm going to do that. And speaking of having the ability to help, while we were in the break a couple of minutes ago, two very generous people stepped forward, and I just want to give them a big pat on the back and say thank you. Robert from Cranberry Township. He didn't just send one hurricane or 2 kits or 5. He gave a gift of $660. 10 hurricane relief kits funded by Robert.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. So incredibly generous. Can you be like Robert? Maybe there's someone else that could step forward, give that $660 gift. Think how many families, man, you get such a heavy load lifted off them to have that extra support right now. And then along comes Linda from Allison Park. We were talking earlier about another opportunity besides the hurricane kits is generators. We're providing generators to these families. $500 funds a generator. And by the way, I bought a generator a couple of years ago. I can get my generator for $500. So that's a pretty good deal. We've got great buying power. And Linda said, you know what? We can fund half of a generator, $250 gift. Thank you, Linda. That's amazing. But now I need someone else to step forward and cover the other half of that generator. So Linda has stepped out on faith, and she said, hey, I'm going to do half. And I mentioned earlier, this is on me kind of right at the beginning of the show. I said, maybe you can do half a generator. God will bring along the other half. So I don't know if Linda's got the left half, the right half, the top half, the bottom half, but we need the other half. So if that's you, a $250 gift, that would be amazing right now. Our time's getting short, but still plenty of time to send so much love and goodness to the people of Puerto Rico and the DR. Thank you for your gifts.
Fabulous. Why don't you text us right now? Text 91999, 91999, and then type in send hope. 91999, and then type in send hope to connect with Food for the Poor. The whole process takes you about 30 seconds, really, maybe 60 at the most. Of course, online at wordfm.com. Join us to help relieve pain and suffering in Puerto Rico. Text 91999.
101.5 WORD
wants to say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
To your pastor.
Thank you so much.
It's the 16th annual Word FM Pastor Appreciation featuring Destined for Victory's Paul Shepard and musical guest Carla Bianco.
Show them some appreciation.
A free event for all pastors, associate pastors, and spouses at the beautiful Priory on Pittsburgh's North Side. Because we know you love your pastor.
Thanks for all you do for us.
It's Thursday, October 6th. Remind your pastor to register now before space fills up at wordfm.com.
If you are 65 or older, you know this. It's really frustrating to deal with out-of-pocket medical expenses, just watching your hard-earned dollars flying out the window. Well, here's something that can really help, and it's worth taking a minute to look into. Medi-Share is a new option. It's called Medi-Share 65 Plus. And Medi-Share is a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills. It really is a community, too. People encourage and pray for each other. Medi-Share 65 Plus is a low-cost option for those with Medicare Parts A and B, and it fills in the gaps where Medicare stops. It's a great way to fight inflation, too. You can lock in one low monthly price for up to 10 years, and you can use your Medicare-approved doctor, and you also get telehealth 24/7 service, so you don't have to leave your home for the little stuff. Very worth looking into, and it's so easy, too. to. Find out why people rave about the customer service at Medi-Share. They're easy to talk to. Call 833-SHARE-55. That's 833-SHARE-55. 833-SHARE-55.
Reverse mortgages. Perceptually, those words were kind of bad words for a while. And still today, in many cases, it's not the perfect fit. But without a doubt, today's reverse mortgage program, now insured by the federal government, is night and day different from that of old. If you or someone you love is over the age of 62 and can't afford to retire, today's reverse mortgage program can be life-changing. This new option does not require you to give up ownership of your home, it will not leave your heirs with debt, and it can provide you with lifetime monthly payments from the value of your home, or even a cash-out option. At United Faith Mortgage, our commitment is to clearly lay out all the details for you or your parents' specific case, and then only take on cases where it's clearly obvious to everyone involved that this is a no-lose situation. If you're curious what it would look like for you or someone you love, we are United Faith Mortgage.
Call for free information on reverse loans. United Mortgage Corp, Melville, New York. NMLS number 1330. Pennsylvania Department of Banking and Securities. Mortgage lender license 22672.
Now that I've got your attention, let me tell you all about us. Whoa, tough crowd. Anybody out there? Hello? Anyone?
Fighting to be heard in today's competitive digital world?
It's time for Salem Surround. Let us handle everything and get your message seen and heard.
Let's turn up the volume on your business with Salem Surround.
Learn more by logging on to surroundpittsburgh.com. Surroundpittsburgh.com.
This special edition of The Ride Home with John and Kathy is brought to you by Food for the Poor, who are right now responding to the needs of families devastated by Hurricane Fiona. You too can help these precious hurting families. Make your most generous contribution now by clicking the red Hurricane Fiona relief banner at wordfm.com.
For that mom receiving that kit, for that mom receiving that aid, you feel like there is a community out there that cares, and you don't have to do this by yourself.
That's just it, right? Who can go through life without the help of anybody else? We're also deeply interconnected. The idea of social media, of course, was supposed to be one thing. It's become something else. But we are so deeply connected. And of course, if you're fortunate, Kath talked about this a while ago. What would we do if we didn't belong to the church?
I don't know. I do not know.
How powerful is that in your life?
I can't even picture my life without it. Mm-hmm. That's how important it is.
Yeah. And people don't know unless you're part of it.
You don't realize what you're missing.
Yeah. It's so incredibly big.
It is.
And so tender at the same time. Mm-hmm. There's so many wonderful benefits, of course. I'm not even.
And there's a lot of mess that goes along with it. And there's a lot of angst.
Messy people.
Right.
We make a mess of it.
It's not like it's a perfect thing, but boy, what the church can bring to you is something that no other group of people can.
No. And Jesus, of course, he set this in motion. He knew what this was going to be like in our lives. He knew we were going to screw it up and make it, a big mess. But at its core, in its beauty, and its power and creation,
best, it is.
Oh, yeah, it's incredible. The local church moves mountains. I know that.
Mm-hmm. We've seen it happen.
Yep. Part of it, the recipient of it, and also been able to be part of it as the muscle that gives as well. That's why we're here today, to help the local church move forward, to help people in the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Fiona on the island of Puerto Rico with the excellence of the ministry of Food for the Poor. One hurricane relief kit is $66. $66. That's not a drop in the bucket. I understand. That's a chunk. Right? You didn't wake up this morning and think, oh, I got $66. Here you go. But because you hear this, and Todd Chapman, who joins us from Food for the Poor, the stories that he's presented throughout these last couple of days, won't you please join us? Here it is. It's 5:44. We're going to leave the air in a little bit. Please, as part of our broadcast family, won't you text 91999, 91999, and then type in Send Hope. $66. Look, I'm not asking you to do $5,000, although that'd be very, very nice. You do what you think you can do. As part of the power and the muscle of the local church, what can we do to help relieve suffering for families, for women, for children, for old people, for mom, and for everybody who's been in that path? Text 91999, type in Send Hope, of course, online at wordfm.com. Todd?
Still looking for the other half of the generator that Linda provided a couple minutes ago. She gave a gift of $250. And I'm really hoping that before we get off the air here in a couple minutes, someone else will step forward and say, hey, you know what? We're going to take care of the other half of that generator so that a family, or actually several families, because oftentimes these generators, when they get brought in there, they'll share that between a couple different households. And so you can kind of spread that love around. $250 gift. Could you do that? That would be amazing. Maybe you say, hey, you know what? I can do half of the $250, $125. Let's finish off this generator before the show ends. Can we do that? And maybe there's someone else that could do what Robert did a couple minutes ago, a $660 gift. Look, I know that's a significant, probably sacrificial gift for someone, but think about the impact on 10 families. 10 families, you get them that emergency relief kit, the stuff that they need. There's all sorts of stuff, water purification tablets, the blankets, the tarps, the flashlights, the solar powered light bulb kits, just things that they need in these early days as they just trying to put things back together after this storm ravaged Puerto Rico and also the Dominican Republic. Speaking of that, so I was talking with Jezebel, who, again, runs our disaster response department at Food for the Poor. She is Puerto Rican. She's got families still there that are themselves recovering from this latest Hurricane Fiona. And I asked her, hey, tell us what the people of Puerto Rico are feeling right now.
I think, they're thinking yet again something else, but yet again, as a community, we carry on. Many of them are trying to wait for waters to recede. There have been over 2,000 actually evacuations through the National Guard. They continue in many cases. Many people are again isolated because of road closures or road collapse. The families are trying to figure out, are their neighbors safe? Is their infrastructure safe? Can they stay in that home? Where do they need to go? Is there enough gasoline at the gasoline station? Because everybody needs, that. My uncle told me he has like a little store that he opened up, and within seconds, the bread is gone in the morning if it comes in, right? And so people are just waiting in line to see where they can get support. They're afraid to travel out. There's roads that have been completely washed away. And so they're still been told, stay in your home as much as possible. But they're trying to check on their neighbors. It's a community that, even having passed Hurricane Maria, earthquakes, it's a community that wants to continue. And it's a community that knows there are so many beautiful souls out there ready to help. And they're ready, and they want to do their part as well, right? As a community, help each other out.
Amen to that.
Is a lot of need.
Just a few minutes left. Text 91999, send hope. Isn't it amazing what becomes valuable in the aftermath of calamity? I mean, you hear your friend here describe what's valuable. I mean, who would have thought, that at one point in our lives, my kingdom for a roll of toilet paper, or I need hand sanitizer. Right. I mean, things take on weird importance, especially in the aftermath of tragedy like this. I mean, that's why it's important. These hurricane relief kits are so necessary right now, Todd.
Yeah, absolutely. And, again, Food for the Poor, look, there's no shortage of opportunity in America. That's one of the great things about our country. We do have ample opportunity to make a difference if you're predisposed and have a heart to do that. And you'll see on your iTunes and all sorts of stuff, in the wake of disasters, especially, hey, give $10 through the American Red Cross. And so there's plenty of charities that you can work with to make a difference in the same disaster. And I get this question a lot. I just wanted to answer it real quickly. People say, well, why Food for the Poor? I mean, there's all these other organizations. Well, that's great. And I'm never going to disparage another organization that's doing good work. But here's what I will say about Food for the Poor. As a follower of Jesus, and I assume you are one because you're listening to us right now here on a great Christian radio station, if you want your response to times like this to be more than just humanitarian aid, if you want that aid to come with a why attached to it, right? And you want the people that are getting the food, getting the relief kit, getting the generator to understand what the motivation behind that gift is, that it's in fact that God loves you and people in America love you and care, then you want to partner with an organization like Food for the Poor, because that's why we work through the church, so that the why is always attached to your very generous gift.
Fabulous. Text 91999, and you'll be asked for the keyword, which is Send Hope. Text 91999, keyword is Send Hope. Of course, online at wordfm.com. I got a friend, my friend John. Oddly, his name is John. He's retired. His wife passed away a few years ago, and we talk regularly. And I said to him a while ago, when, John, are you your happiest? We were just having this conversation. He surprised me. He said, my happiest moment of every month is when I walk to the mailbox with my bills and put them inside. And then when I turn around and I walk back home, he said, I feel like I want to skip. I'm very, very...
Why? Because he's able to pay his bills.
I made it through another month, right? And there's something that, he said, it just comes over me. There's like a feeling of euphoria about that, right? Because he knows that John said, well, then I've got a little cushion. I've got a little something that's left over, and I'm okay for the next another 30 days. And that's really what happens here. We just want to make sure people are okay, right? It's a good feeling to feel okay, right? Yep. It's a rare feeling. A lot of times we let fear and anxiety and all chaos sort of overwhelm us. The world's difficult. It's harsh. Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice to be that guy to put your bills in the mailbox?
And to be able to deliver that to somebody, to help somebody to feel okay.
Amen to that. We're going to step away. Please pick up your phone and text 91999. 91999. The keyword you're going to be asked for is Send Hope. Please join us now, of course, online, wordfm.com. The excellence of food for the poor.
Hurricane Fiona has ravaged the Caribbean with devastating winds, rainfall, flooding. Food for the Poor is already responding to the needs of the victims of the storm. Emergency kits containing food, clean water, and other relief supplies are positioned and ready to go. We need your help to get them to families in need. Your gift of any amount will help these devastated families. Text Send Hope, all one word, to 91999. Text Send Hope to 91999, and we'll send you a link to give. Or click the red Hurricane Fiona banner at wordfm.com. Hurricane Fiona has decimated Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. 85-mile-per-hour winds, catastrophic flash floods, mudslides, massive blackouts. The population is devastated. With your help, Food for the Poor is giving relief to storm victims. Your gift of any amount will send even more aid to families devastated by Hurricane Fiona. Please give your best gift now. Text Send Hope, all one word, to 91999. Or click the red Hurricane Fiona banner at wordfm.com.
At the Original Mattress Factory, we use only the highest quality materials in our mattresses, and that starts with our inner springs. We build our mattresses with interlaced inner springs because we believe you deserve the best. But mainstream mattress brands use a lower quality encased coil system. So we put both springs to the test to find out which provides better support, conformance, and motion separation. You can see the results for yourself in our new video. Visit originalmattress.com or our YouTube channel to see how each inner spring performed.
You wouldn't wear pants that are too tight or a shirt that doesn't fit just right. Just like clothes, there's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all mattress. At the Original Mattress Factory, we know that everyone has unique comfort preferences. Our knowledgeable, friendly sales team is here to help guide you and answer any questions you may have. Our no-pressure shopping experience allows our customers to take their time to find the mattress that meets their unique needs. Visit an OMF location today to see the Original Mattress Factory difference for yourself.
Celebrate fall during Community Market Days at Bednar's Farm and Greenhouse. Every Saturday from 11 to 3, Bednar's has plenty to enjoy, including local goods and vendors, a food truck, live music, wine tastings, cooking and gardening workshops, DIY and kids activities, plus everything you need for your fall gardening and decor, with fresh-cut pumpkins, gourds, corn stalks, mums, and lots more. Community Market Days, every Saturday at Bednar's Farm and Greenhouse in McDonald. Visit bednarsgreenhouse.com.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
We are everywhere on your radio at 101.5 WORD FM Pittsburgh, at wordfm.com, the Word FM mobile app, iHeart, TuneIn, and Odyssey.
Hey, in a little bit, it's dinner time for us, and we've been spending time with Todd Chapman from Food for the Poor. Of course, it's dinner time across the country here, right, in our time zone. What about those people in Puerto Rico in the path of Hurricane Fiona? Todd, we've got just a couple of minutes left. Give us a word of encouragement.
Well, I was just actually reflecting on, it's interesting that you kind of teed it up that way, because here I'm thinking, well, we're closing in on the end of another day. And it's interesting, I think someone said, and if not, then I'm going to claim this, days drag, years fly, life goes by in the blink of an eye, right? I mean, it really is true. And so one of the things that God has just impressed on me lately is, and I've never really been good about this. I think as a kid, we said our bedtime prayers, right? Now I lay me down to sleep, right? What about a grown-up bedtime prayer? So maybe this idea is something that we could all lean into. Questions that maybe we ask: God, did I treat people like I want to be treated today? Did I love others as I love myself? How fully did I love you with all my heart, soul, mind, and strength? And, did I use gentle words, kind words today? And then one that I'm increasingly just a prayer of gratitude. If I did this, and I hope that I try to at some level every day, God, thank you for giving me the opportunity to say yes to you today and to make a positive difference in the world. I would love to for you to be able to, not that you don't, but wouldn't it feel so good if you could lay down tonight and said, God, thank you for the opportunity to say yes to you today. And so that's my prayer for you. Thank you if you've given. Thank you if you haven't yet given. Thank you for your prayers. If you're not able to give right now, we have so many things going on right now that Food for the Poor is trying to address. I mean, we've got, Fiona, we've got just the regular poverty in our 17 countries we've been serving for 40 years. We've got our response in Ukraine. There is Haiti's in a really bad state right now. So we covet your prayers because we are stretched, but we are faithful and steadfast in our commitment to serve the poor. But please know that we covet your generosity and your support because we just can't do it without you.
Amen. Thank you, Todd.
Yep.
Listen, both Kath and I have been greatly blessed because we've been with Food for the Poor in the field. My hope is that everybody could see what we've seen. It would change your life, Kath.
No question about it. And if there's anything that we could possibly deliver to you as a listener, it's just an honest accounting of what we've seen. And I feel like that's the best we can give you. And that is that these people are who they say they are. And when a need arises, their heart is to figure out a way to step into it. And you are the engine that really makes that happen.
Exactly. Just to do a little bit of good to help people that will not give us thanks. We're not doing it for that. We're doing it because we love people, we love the Lord, and we have an opportunity to do so. Text 91999, 91999, and the keyword you'll be asked for is send hope. Todd, always a great pleasure. Our best wishes, our prayers for you and the work that you do at Food for the Poor, for all those thousands of people. God bless you all.
The Ride Home with John and Kathy, a production of Salem Media Group.
This is Albert Moeller.